I died on the third day after the new emperor took the throne, and Jack never came to collect my body. In Xuanzheng Hall, he personally burned the 37 policy essays I had written for him. As I was taking my last breaths, a eunuch asked him, "These were all written by Miss Lucy herself. Are you really keeping none of them?" He stayed silent for a long time. "Affairs of state can't come from a woman's hand. Burn them." I still hadn't died yet. Through a door, I heard every word, and suddenly those 20 years felt like a complete joke. I once wrote the practical plan for river control for him and calculated the grain transfers from south to north. When he was at his lowest, I copied an entire memorial for him through a snowy night. Later, he became crown prince, and I became a palace historian. He took the throne, but I was locked in the library tower. They called it editing books, but really, I couldn't leave without an imperial order. Everyone outside said I had won the new emperor's trust, so I was allowed to organize the royal archives. Only I knew the truth. He was afraid the world would find out that this wise emperor had risen because of a woman's pen. Before I died, he finally came. He was still wearing the black ceremonial robe from his coronation. His eyes were dark and heavy. I could barely see the boy he used to be. I lay on the bed, too weak to get up. He stood by the door for a long time without coming closer. I asked him weakly, "Jack, what was I to you in this life?" "Lucy, you were too smart. Back then, without you, I might never have made it this far." I gave a broken smile, my throat full of the taste of blood. "If there's another life, I'd rather I never used you at all." I stared at him for a long time. In the end, I only said one thing. "If there's another life, I will never help you again." When I opened my eyes again, I was back at Wenhua Hall on the day of the policy exam. The spring rain had just stopped, and the palace steps were still damp. I stood among the scholars and noble ladies, gripping my paper tightly. That year, the emperor ordered Wenhua Hall to open. Noble heirs and poor scholars alike could submit policy essays. Those selected could enter the hall and discuss politics with the great scholars of court. Of course, whether women could truly take part in politics was another story. Even so, this was the first time in Dazhao history that women were allowed inside the palace hall. In my last life, this was the day I met Jack. Back then, no one loved him. He had no maternal clan, no power, and nobody respected him. He noticed my practical plan for river control, and he noticed me too. He looked determined when he said, "Lucy, help me, and one day I'll make sure the world knows your talent." I looked into his eyes and actually believed him. I handed him everything I had worked for. With that essay, he successfully caught his father's attention. For the next 20 years, I planned for him, advised him, and drained myself for him. And what did I get? He burned my manuscripts with his own hands. This time, when the examiner read the list, my fingers went pale from gripping my sleeve. Anna, selected for Wenhua Hall for questions on peace and order. Tom, selected for Wenhua Hall for the tax reform book. Amy, selected for Wenhua Hall for salt policy reform. 7 names were read. Mine was the only one missing. People around me started whispering. "Miss Lucy's river control essay is famous all over the capital. How is she not on the list?" Maybe her words were too bold and offended someone above. I think someone just can't stand her. She's a woman, but she's more capable than men. A woman shouldn't look too talented anyway. Lucy should really learn to hold back. Only when the final jade token was brought out did Jack slowly walk down from the hall. He looked just like he had back then, but with one glance I understood. He had been reborn too. Because the way he looked at me was far too deep and heavy. Behind me I heard someone hold their breath. In my last life, this was the moment he placed the jade token in my hand. "Miss Lucy, your talent is unmatched. Without you, the court would suffer a loss." Hearing that, my heart had burned hot. I thought I would gladly work myself to death for him. But now I only looked at him coldly. He raised his hand, but the jade token passed right by me and went to Anna beside me. Miss Anna is steady and practical. Her writing is grounded. Wenhua Hall needs someone like her. Anna froze completely. She stared at the jade token, trembling uncontrollably. Every year, floods hit Jiangnan. The court had no money, and officials argued for 3 months without finding a solution. But in my essay, I laid out methods for dredging waterways, building levees, and storing grain. Some ideas were bold, sure, but none of them were nonsense. In my last life, Jack had praised those exact ideas himself. He said my insight rivaled senior ministers, and with me helping him, he had half the court's brain in his hands. Now, he handed the chance to someone else. Grand Tutor Brown frowned. Grand Tutor Brown asked, "Your Highness, His Majesty was just asking about Miss Lucy's paper." Grand Tutor, Lucy is smart, yes, but her writing is too sharp. She always wants to change the rules. That could bring criticism. Miss Anna is different. Her writing is proper and safe. She's more suited to study inside the hall. So that was it. In my last life, Jack used my talent to clear his path. In this life, he was afraid my brilliance would damage his reputation. That's right. After he took the throne, his biggest fear was historians writing that he had risen because of a woman. So this time, he wanted to cut everything off at the source. As long as he didn't use me, it would be fine. Even if that meant not giving me a single chance to enter the hall, Grand Tutor Brown still wanted to speak for me. But Jack had already turned to look at me. His voice was low. "Lucy, I know what you're capable of, but today is not the right setting. You should understand my difficulties. I'll help revise it. I'll choose the safer parts and present them to my father. As for your name, don't let it show for now. Don't worry, I'll never treat you unfairly." I stared at him, suddenly remembering that he had said the exact same thing after becoming emperor. "I will never treat you unfairly." Later, I was locked in the library tower. When I died, there wasn't even anyone to collect my body. "Your Highness, that's quite the joke." I bowed, my voice loud enough for everyone to hear. "My essay is my essay. I won't trouble your Highness to rewrite it for me." Jack's face changed instantly. He probably never expected me to embarrass him in public. After all, in my last life, at this moment, I was completely devoted to him. If he said it was for my own good, I gave him anything. He warned me again in a low voice, "Lucy, stop acting out." "I'm not acting out. Since your highness has chosen Miss Anna, I wish you sharp judgment, and I wish Miss Anna a bright future." Anna's face turned a little pale. She wasn't stupid. Everyone understood what Jack had just said. She got the jade token not because her essay was good, but because she was obedient. And conveniently, she could be used to put me down. "Lucy!" Jack's expression grew darker. It was the first time he had called me by my full name. I turned straight to Grand Tutor Brown. "I'd like to ask, is today's selection based on your highness's wishes or the official's judgment?" Jack snapped, "Lucy!" I ignored him. "If it's based only on a prince's preference, then I accept it. If it's based on talent, then let the officials judge openly." Someone gasped. "She dares to challenge a prince in public? That takes serious guts." Anger appeared in Jack's eyes, but so did fear. He was sure I had been reborn too. In that moment, the way he looked at me was complicated, as if I had cut off something between us ahead of time. "Miss Lucy, don't forget your manners before the throne." I lowered my head and bowed. "But I'd rather know this. When women submit essays, are they for the court or for some prince?" Everyone's face changed. Jack rushed right up to me. "Shut your mouth! If a woman's writing has to be placed under someone else's name, then what's the point of opening this hall? If women can't sign their names or receive rewards, then isn't this so-called search for talent just empty talk?" Those words hit hard. Jack roared. "Lucy, do you even know what nonsense you're saying?" "I know exactly what I'm saying. I'm asking about the court's rules, and I'm fighting for my own future." He froze where he stood. In my last life, I asked about many things, but never about my own future, so he never took my future seriously. He thought I would always be his shadow, cleaning up the dirty work for him, then watching him walk into the light. He suddenly gave a cold laugh. "You want a future? Then go earn it yourself. Without me, let's see who in this court listens to a woman." I submitted more than one copy of my paper. Jack's face instantly went pale. "What did you say?" I took a reply letter from my sleeve. The seal bore the red stamp of the Waterworks Bureau. 3 days ago, I already sent a copy to the Waterworks Bureau. Deputy Supervisor David is reporting to the palace today. By now, he should be here. Jack stared hard at that letter. All the color drained from his lips. In my last life, he was always the first person to read my essays. I taught him how to revise them, where to dig deeper, and how to please the Emperor. But this time, he knew nothing. Just then, a voice called from outside. "Deputy Supervisor David of the Waterworks Bureau has arrived." When David entered, the rain had stopped. He wore official robes, his sleeves still damp, his face cold and serious. I had seen this man in my last life, though we didn't have much contact. He was 2 years older than me, from a poor family, and brilliant. Later, he oversaw water affairs. He didn't join factions, and he didn't care for social games. After Jack took power in my last life, David once suggested opening exams for women and selecting capable people, regardless of gender. He wanted women's writing to carry their names, and women to hold office and receive rewards. But that proposal was buried because Jack said, "The time isn't right yet." Later, David was transferred to Jiangnan. I heard he accomplished great things in flood control, and apparently never married. After that, I was locked inside the library tower. Now, he strode into the hall. After bowing, he presented a scroll. "Your Majesty asked about Jiangnan's disaster. I bring an unusual plan." The Emperor sat on the dragon throne, originally just listening. Now he looked interested. "Oh? What policy essay?" David bowed calmly. "The practical plan for river control." Jack's face turned completely green. Everyone in the hall looked at me. The Emperor raised an eyebrow. "That name sounds familiar." Grand Tutor Brown quickly added, "Your Majesty, that is the same essay Miss Lucy submitted today." The Emperor took the scroll, read for a while, and his expression turned serious. The whole hall went silent. Jack clenched his fist so hard his knuckles cracked. I saw cold sweat on his forehead. In my last life, he had looked this nervous before. Back then, he was worried whether the Emperor would value him. Now, he was worried whether the Emperor would value me. After a long while, the Emperor suddenly spoke. "Where is Lucy?" I knelt on the floor. "Your subject is here." "You wrote this? You're a sheltered young lady. How do you know anything about Jiangnan's waterworks?" I calmly explained, "My grandfather lives in Linzhou. 3 years ago, I went there and saw the levees and disaster victims myself. After I came back, I studied 20 years of records and asked experienced old clerks for advice." The Emperor nodded without speaking, then turned a few more pages. "In the 7th section, what does paying work points in grain mean?" I thought carefully and said, "Forcing men into labor would delay farming. Paying everyone in cash would drain a treasury that already has no money. My idea is to have disaster victims work in exchange for grain. It's relief through labor, and it solves an urgent need. That way, we can repair the levees and save people at the same time." The Emperor pressed further. "What if local officials steal the grain?" I answered smoothly, "Set up a grain audit system. Have the accounts reported and reviewed on schedule." An official nearby gave a cold snort. "Local gentry may not be trustworthy either." I shot back, "That's why I set up a third safeguard. Estimate grain use by the amount of earth moved. Ledgers can be faked. The height of dirt piles can't." The whole hall fell completely silent. David stood nearby with his eyes lowered. No one noticed his hand relax a little. Only I saw it. The Emperor questioned me for a full hour, from levies to grain, from resettlement to taxes, from evaluations to farmland. I answered all of it. A few questions were tricky, and when I couldn't answer, I told the truth. I haven't fully figured that part out yet. Instead, the Emperor smiled. "If you don't know, say you don't know. That's better than people pretending they do." The moment he said that, Jack's face looked even worse, because in my last life, he rose to power by saying pretty things. The Emperor closed the scroll. "David, what do you think?" David answered, "Most of it can be tried, though some parts will touch the interests of powerful families." The Emperor nodded, pleased. Then he looked back at me. "Lucy, are you willing to work at the Waterworks Bureau?" The hall was shocked again. A woman entering a government office was even more shocking than entering Wenhua Hall. Jack's face changed at once. Jack immediately stepped forward to stop his father. "This absolutely cannot happen. And why not?" The Emperor asked him coldly. Jack took a deep breath. "Lucy is talented, but she is still a woman. Writing documents is one thing. Working in a government office would only make people gossip." The Emperor's face darkened. His tone turned hard. "If her policy essay is useful, that's enough. If it isn't, I will remove her myself." "Gossip? I am not too old to think clearly. Since when do outsiders get to point fingers at the court?" Jack dropped straight to his knees. "I wouldn't dare." The Emperor gave a cold snort. "Today you recommended Miss Anna, and I did not stop you. Now I want to put a capable person to use, and suddenly you jump out to block it." The moment he said that, Jack's face went pale. He finally understood. From the moment I submitted my letter to the Waterworks Bureau, this game was already out of his control. What he wanted was a Lucy who stayed hidden behind him. "Lucy, I am here, Your Majesty. I will have you enter the Waterworks Bureau as a female official. Within 3 months, sort out Jiangnan's old accounts." I bowed and kowtowed. "Thank you, Your Majesty." When I stood up, I saw Jack still kneeling there. He stared at me, his eyes full of resentment. In my past life, after he became emperor, I knelt below and listened as he made me a palace maid. He said it was his favor to me. Now I had carved out my own path, and he looked more miserable than anyone. After the meeting, Anna stopped me under the corridor. She was still holding that jade token. The rain had left a chill in the air, and she did not look well. "Miss Lucy." I stopped walking. "Miss Anna." She hesitated, then bowed to me. "About today's spot, I didn't mean to take it from you." I shook my head. "I understand." Her eyes turned red, but she quickly held herself together. But I still took it. "You've probably heard about my family's situation." I had. Her birth mother died early, and her stepmother ran the household. Life in that manner was suffocating for her. In my past life, after she entered the academy, she later became empress. Graceful, gentle, and proper. Everyone said she was Jack's perfect match, but I had heard rumors from inside that tower. She helped Jack choose concubines, raise children, and keep the palace respectable. She never fought for herself. I spoke up. "Miss Anna, don't feel guilty. The token is in your hand, so hold on to it. Don't be afraid if people say you have no real skill. If anyone says you got in by luck, write something brilliant and show them." Anna froze. "Miss Lucy, you don't hate me?" "No, why would I?" I looked into the distance. Jack was still standing at the palace doors. I looked away. "You weren't the one who humiliated me today." Anna followed my gaze. She stayed silent for a long time, then whispered, "I understand." She thanked me again. "Miss Lucy, I wish you a bright future." I returned the bow. "And I hope you get everything you want, Miss Anna." In the end, Jack still came after me. At the palace gate, the carriages were all parked there. Tom had already left ahead of us to handle official business. I was about to get in when his voice came from behind me, barely holding back his anger. "You planned this all along, didn't you?" I turned slightly. He was staring at me. "When did you become this ruthless?" Seeing him so furious, I almost found it funny. "I fought for a way to survive. That's ruthless now?" He was speechless. After a while, his voice softened. "Lucy, are you blaming me? You should know my feelings for you are real." I quietly watched him perform. He seemed to slip right back into that confidence he had in my past life, like he controlled everything. "You stand out too much. The officials won't let you off easy. I hid you away because I wanted to protect you." I asked with disdain. "Protect me until when?" He froze. I pressed him again. "Until you take the throne and can shut the whole world up?" I shook him off hard. "Your Highness, show some respect." He looked at me in shock. "Lucy, I owed you in the last life. But in this life, I never meant to throw you away." "Then what were you planning to do?" He went silent for a moment. "You don't have to become an official, and you don't need to worry about politics. Just live in my estate. Those rotten court affairs shouldn't be your burden as a woman. This time I'll carry them for you." Slap. The sound was sharp and loud. The passing eunuchs and coachmen were stunned. Jack's head snapped to the side, and he did not move for a long while. My hand was numb, but the anger in my chest finally eased a little. For the first time, I called him by his full name in public. "Jack, later on when you secured the throne, you said women in politics looked bad. In my past life, you begged me, and I helped you. When you were humiliated, I wrote the strategies. When people made things hard for you, I found the way out." I told him word by word. "When I had no status, you ignored me. When I had talent, you said I was in the way. Since when does the world work that conveniently for you? I just didn't want people talking about you." "Ha, ha, ha! Like I haven't been cursed enough? You couldn't hear all those filthy words outside the tower? They said I seduced the emperor, that a woman meddling in politics was shameless. But back then, I couldn't even leave that place." His face slowly turned pale. "Lucy." I took a step back. "From now on, we are ruler and subject. There is no past between us." He panicked. "You think Tom is someone you can rely on?" At least he dared to put my name at the top of the document. Jack had nothing left to say. That sentence hurt more than the slap. After I returned home, my father was waiting in the main hall. The Lucy family had always been known for clean, upright scholars. And in my generation, I was the only daughter. "Lucy, this world is unfair to women. But you cannot be the first one to look down on yourself. In my past life, when I entered the Eastern Palace, my father warned me. Jack has a deep mind. Don't trust him completely." Back then, I was so blinded by sweet words that I thought my father was just suspicious. Later, when Jack became emperor, the Lucy family was pushed aside. My father died depressed, and I never even saw him one last time. Now, seeing my father under the lamp, reading through copies of documents, I almost burst into tears. He looked up at me. "You slapped the third prince?" I froze. "How did you know?" There were so many people at the palace gate. It'd be harder not to know. I lowered my head, ashamed. I caused trouble for the family. My father put down the paper, his tone calm. "You didn't hit him hard enough." I was stunned. "He wants your writing but refuses to give you status. A selfish man like that deserves a slap." I finally couldn't stop my eyes from turning red. "Dad," he sighed. "Why cry? You fought for this path yourself. You should be happy." I wiped the corners of my eyes. "I'm not crying!" My father did not call me out. After a while, he said, "I asked around about that Tom kid. He comes from a poor background, but he has backbone. He doesn't flatter people. Since you'll be working with him, stay sharp. If he respects your talent, then respect his character. If he ever looks down on you too, come tell me. I'll go curse him out for you." I laughed out loud. "Dad, I don't think he will. He's the kind of person who cares about the work, not who you are." My father raised an eyebrow. "That sure?" I thought about it. He didn't remove my name from the document he submitted today. That alone puts him ahead of too many people. The next day I reported to the Waterworks Bureau. The guards looked at me strangely and plenty of officials whispered along the way. I could hear the little comments. She really came. Letting a woman audit accounts? How improper. How did Deputy Minister Tom agree to this? Who knows, His Majesty personally approved it. I pretended not to hear and entered the office. The room was filled with files, all neatly organized. Tom was at the desk studying a map. When he saw me enter, he only glanced up. "Miss Lucy," I bowed.
Lord Tom.
He pointed to the desk beside him. "That is your seat." I looked over. Fresh paper and ink were on the desk, along with a cup of hot tea. No polite small talk, no special treatment. But in that moment, I suddenly felt grounded. In my past life, Jack always loved to say, "Lucy, just stay behind me." But I never wanted to stay behind anyone. All I wanted was a desk of my own. There are 36 boxes of files. I'll take the upstream records and you take the downstream records. Today, we sort out the accounts for these 3 county offices first. I nodded. "Okay," he added. "If anyone gives you trouble, write down their names. We don't keep freeloaders here, and we don't keep fools. Since His Majesty sent you here, we follow the rules. Whoever has a problem can come to me." I looked at him and joked. "Lord Tom, aren't you afraid of people talking?" Only then did he look at me. Afraid or not, the work still has to be done. I froze. When the flood comes, it doesn't care if you're a man or a woman. His words were blunt, but they hit me right in the heart. I lowered my head and opened the file. Flood control leaves no room for petty arguing, and no room for covering for anyone. That entire day we spoke less than 20 sentences, and all of them were about the project. It wasn't until someone came in to light the lamps after dark that I realized I had been sitting there for 4 whole hours. What's the problem? The refugees don't have household registration. Food distribution can easily get messy. If officials use that as an excuse to drive people away, it could turn into a major disaster. I thought for a moment. Then we set up temporary household registration and send our own people to record them. Anyone who stays for 2 years gets officially entered into the registry, while the temporary system manages them for now. At last, a faint smile appeared in his eyes. After I finished writing, he took it and looked it over. He fixed 2 typos. He did not rewrite it for me, and he did not add his own name in front. He simply placed the paper back before me. "Bring this to His Majesty for review tomorrow." I stared at that page. The top line was written clearly, "Drafted by Lucy." 3 days later, the Emperor summoned us to his study. Jack was there too, and he looked much more worn down. I heard that after getting slapped last time, the Emperor scolded him and confined him for 2 days. Since he was allowed here today, the Emperor probably wanted him to learn some government affairs. Anna was there as well. She wore a plain blue-green outfit. When she saw me enter, she nodded at me, and I returned the greeting. The Emperor asked about a few details. Tom answered half, and I answered the other half. Jack tried to cut in several times, but he had not read the latest files, and he did not understand my original approach. The moment he opened his mouth, the flaws showed. The Emperor frowned. "It seems she understands this better than you do." "I am ashamed, Father." Jack looked embarrassed. "Jack, didn't you say a few days ago that Lucy was all theory and no practice?" Anna lowered her head, her expression shifting slightly. She had probably also seen how much Jack's so-called appreciation was mixed with selfish motives. The Emperor tapped the table. "Jiangnan cannot wait. Pack up. You leave in 10 days. When you return, I want the final plan." Jack suddenly stood up. "Father!" The Emperor was clearly annoyed. "Now what?" He glanced at me. Through clenched teeth. "Lucy has never traveled far from home. I want to go along and escort her." Tom spoke up then. "Your Majesty, that may not be appropriate." Jack stared at him, his eyes fierce. "And what is your objection?" Tom remained calm and respectful. "Your Highness has a noble status. Jiangnan is still unstable, and if anything happens, it would be hard to answer for it. Besides, we are going to audit accounts and investigate officials. If your Highness is there, people will only flatter you. We won't get the truth." He did not leave Jack any face. "He's right. Also, you should stay and attend more lessons at the academy. Learn something." That was basically a direct scolding. Jack could only accept the order. In that moment, I saw the madness in his eyes. The first achievement that should have belonged to him, in this life, he couldn't even touch the edge of it. Anna stopped me again. "Miss Lucy, Jiangnan is far. Please take care of yourself." I nodded. "You too, Miss Anna." She hesitated for a moment, then suddenly spoke. "The third prince came to see me yesterday. He wanted me to help organize some old drafts." I looked at her. "He said a woman's reputation matters, and that only then would she have a future." I smiled. "How did you answer him?" I didn't answer him. I said that since I had entered the academy, I only wanted to write my own work. As for someone else's drafts, I was afraid I'd ruin them. Lucy refused to compromise, so he wanted to find the next one. But Anna was not the old Anna anymore. Or maybe she had never been foolish in the first place. "Miss Anna, you will definitely make a name for yourself." She looked at me, her eyes much firmer now. And Miss Lucy, you will definitely uncover the truth. We smiled at each other. In the distance, Jack stood by the corner, watching us, shaking with anger. He probably could not understand why, in this life, the women around him no longer obeyed him. But why should anyone live their whole life just to complete him? 10 days later, I went south with Tom. My father personally came to the city gate to see me off, bringing 2 boxes of books for me. Don't push yourself on the road. Listen to Lord Tom's advice. Eat on time. Sleep on time. I quickly agreed. Okay, I know. My father stood beside me, holding it in for a long time before finally saying one thing. Lucy. His face was serious. Remember, if someone bullies you out there, don't just take it. But if you meet someone who truly wants to get things done, don't keep all your thorns up either. I nodded. I'll remember. And as for Tom, if he bullies you, write home right away. Dad. Jack walked over. He clearly heard it. My dad shot him a look. Protect her all you want, but she's here to work, not to be worshipped. Jack replied, I know, she's my colleague. Colleague. In my past life, for 20 years, nobody ever called me that. Tom called me Lucy, called me an official, called me a supervisor, but never a comrade fighting beside him. Before getting in the carriage, I looked back at the city wall. Tom was actually watching me too. He stood far away with no one beside him. I knew clearly that from this moment on, fate had been rewritten. This was my grandfather's hometown, and the place hit hardest in my past life. The county official was waiting at the relay station with his men. The second he saw Jack, he rushed over with a fake smile. The banquet is ready, sir. We prepared it to welcome you all. Jack got off his horse. No need. The county official froze awkwardly. Take me to see the levee. The county official's face stiffened. Sir, it's almost dark. How about tomorrow? I got out of the carriage. His face went stiff. So it's Miss Lucy. I gave a cold laugh. Lead the way. He wiped his sweat as he led us over. Once we reached the levee, one look was enough. The records were fake. The soil was too thin and not packed down at all. Hundreds of workers fixing it for 5 straight days? No way it would look this bad. Jack crouched down and dug at the dirt. I opened the small ledger I carried with me and questioned the official. Where are the 3,000 wooden stakes used 3 days ago? The county official stammered. They were all driven into the foundation. Jack stood up and said only one word. Dig. The county official's face went pale. Jack ordered, dig it open, let me see. The guards started digging right away. In less than half an hour, they found rotten wood, and the numbers didn't add up. The county official's legs gave out, and he collapsed to the ground. Sir, I've been framed. I closed the ledger. Don't panic, sir. No one is framing you. Jack glanced at me, and I continued. The expenses don't match. That's a fact. As for who pocketed the money and who stole the grain, we'll find out once we keep digging. The county official was sweating bullets. That night, the county office's accounting room was sealed off. The accountant was arrested. Jack and I each took a ledger and worked by candlelight until dawn. Just before daybreak, he suddenly asked if I was tired. I stretched my aching wrist. I'm fine. He pushed a cup of hot tea toward me. After today, those local officials will know we're not easy to deal with. They'll be even more guarded from now on. I answered calmly. Let them be. The more nervous they get, the more mistakes they'll make. He looked at me, a faint smile tugging at his lips. Miss Lucy is absolutely right. I lowered my head and drank my tea, not daring to answer. News of the Lingzhou corruption case reached the capital half a month later. They said the emperor was furious. He removed the county official, arrested 2 river officers, and ordered a full audit of Jiangnan's accounts. Jack and I kept heading south. Halfway there, he fell ill. It wasn't serious. He was just exhausted, and he'd caught a cold from the rain. The relay station staff were scared half to death. I frowned hard. Lord Jack, you need to rest for 2 days. Wrapped in a coat, he kept studying the map. I haven't finished checking this area's plans. I snatched the brush from his hand. If you collapse, who's going to argue with those corrupt officials? He was quiet for a moment. You. For a second, I didn't react. Then he added, You're pretty good at arguing. I looked at him and almost laughed from frustration. Jack, is that supposed to be a compliment? He asked seriously. Isn't it? Fine, you win. Now go to sleep. I tossed the brush farther away and kept a straight face. This is just concern between colleagues. Don't overthink it. Something shifted in his eyes and he finally agreed to lie down. Fine. When I reached the door, he turned back again. Lucy. He rarely called me by my full name. I asked, What? He said quietly, You don't have to keep yourself so tightly wound. My hand froze. He didn't say anything else and went back to his room to rest. I sat in the lamplight for a long time, unable to turn the next page. In my past life, Tom also told me to rest, but every time he said that, he would casually take my work away. Lucy, leave the rest to me. But in the end, all the credit for the rest became his. Jack was different. He told me to rest, but he never took the brush from my hand. Jinghe County's accounts were even worse than Lingzhou's, but the mess had a pattern. It felt like someone had left clues on purpose, baiting us to investigate the accounting room. Jack studied it for a while. The handwriting in this ledger is off. They're trying to bait us out. The real problem isn't on the books. He spread out the map and I leaned in to look. South of Jinghe County, there was an abandoned old dock. The record said it had been deserted for 3 years, but in the past 2 months' grain transport logs, convoys kept detouring that way. Let's check the dock. Right now. That night, we brought 4 trusted men with us. The dock was run down, but there were fresh wheel tracks on the ground. Following the marks, we found a private warehouse. When we opened the door, it was full of disaster relief grain. The men's faces changed. My heart sank. This isn't just corruption, Jack said coldly. They're hoarding grain to drive up prices. Someone was waiting for the flood to hit, waiting for grain prices to skyrocket, then cashing in on people's misery. This was way bigger than one little county official could handle. I was about to speak when footsteps sounded outside. The men all drew their blades. Jack pulled me behind him. I frowned. You don't need to protect me. Before I could finish, laughter came from outside. Lord Jack, you've got some nerve sneaking into a warehouse in the middle of the night. Aren't you afraid you won't make it back to the capital? More than a dozen masked men surrounded the warehouse. Their leader took out a letter and stared at me. Miss Lucy, the third prince has a message for you. My heart dropped. Then I let out a cold laugh. Jack also stared at the letter. His Highness said Jiangnan is deep water. If you stop now, there's still time. Keep investigating and no one can save you. Tom was still using the same old tricks. That fake self-righteous threat made me sick. I stepped forward and stared at the leader. I'd like to see what you can do to me. What else did he say? The man answered, His Highness also said you should know that without him in your past life, you would have died long ago. My eyes trembled. Jack snapped his gaze toward me. His Highness still values your old bond. As long as you hand over the case files, once you return to the capital, he can pretend nothing happened. Old bond? Forgiveness? Hearing those words, I only found it absurd. That fake generosity only made me want to throw up. I asked him back, So he wants the case files? The man answered, That's right. Fine. Jack's face shifted. The man smiled smugly. Miss Lucy really knows how to read the room. I pulled a ledger out from inside my robe. I walked over. The other guy reached out to take it. The next second, I threw the ledger straight into the fire pit. The flames shot up and the man screamed in panic. I said coldly, That ledger was fake. The real one? I had someone send it away a long time ago. Suddenly, a rush of footsteps came from outside. The county officers had surrounded the place with troops. The one leading them was the clerk we had let go on purpose earlier that day. Sir, the criminals are surrounded. Only then did the men in black start to panic. Tom looked at me. I turned back and smiled at him. Lord Tom, you were right. They would guard against me. But the tighter they guarded, the more openings they left. That night, the Qinghai County grain hoarding case was solved. We caught more than corrupt officials. We also caught men from the third prince's estate. The news was sent back to the capital. Back at the relay station, he didn't ask how I knew Jack would send people. He didn't ask why I had set everything up early. He just stood in the hallway and stared at me. If you have something to say, just say it. How did you die in your last life? My whole body froze. The night wind blew past and his voice was a little hoarse. That night after you finished writing his policy essay, did you cry? My head buzzed. That was the deepest secret buried in my heart. That day, after I finished the plan, I passed by the study and heard him chatting with his advisors inside. Lucy is still just a woman. We can't let her stand out too much later on. I held the draft and sat alone in the hallway all night. That day, I really did cry. But after I was done crying, I still gave him the results. Even Jack himself never knew about that. I stared at Tom. After a long while, I asked in a trembling voice, You came back too? Tom didn't answer right away. He just looked at me. The light was dim, and his voice was low and steady. This time, I made it in time. I looked at Tom and couldn't say a word for a long time. He didn't rush me either. The lantern light swayed under the eaves and the rain kept dripping down. Finally, I asked, How much do you remember? Tom lowered his head. All of it. That tower and the burned drafts. He told everyone you died of illness. He wouldn't even let your family collect your body. A chill ran through me. So in the end, he even took away my last bit of dignity. Tom's voice dropped even lower. I rushed back to the capital from Jiangnan, but I was still too late. I broke into the ruins and only found half a page that hadn't burned through. It was all in your handwriting. My heart tightened. So when you later suggested opening the women's exam, it was because of me? He looked into my eyes. Yes, but not only because of you. You made me realize that when talented women can't leave their names behind, the whole country loses. A woman's talent should never be buried. In this life, I wanted to protect your pen first. Those words weren't heavy, but they pressed on me until I could barely breathe. In my past life, right up until I died, I kept questioning why I had even lived. Now someone had finally given me an answer. I wasn't anyone's shadow, and I wasn't anyone's ghostwriter. I was me, Lucy. My achievements deserved to be written under my name. As the case went deeper, it pulled in many high-ranking officials from the Ministry of Revenue, along with Jack's own loyalists. The day we escorted the prisoners back to the capital, Jack was waiting at the palace gate. He had grown painfully thin. When he saw Tom and me step down from the carriage together, his eyes went cold. He called my name. Lucy. I ignored him. Your Highness, I'm on official business. Jack sneered. You sure are protecting her closely. We're colleagues on a case. Of course we look out for each other. Jack stared at me. So now you don't even want to talk to me? If this is about personal matters, then there's nothing old between us to talk about. His face went pale. Lucy, are you really this heartless? I looked him right in the eyes. Your Highness has a poor memory, but we both know who was truly heartless. Jack froze where he stood, and Tom's gaze turned cold too. Jack moved his lips. After a long time, he finally forced out, That was the last life. In this life, I haven't even done anything to you yet. But in your heart, you were already planning it. He couldn't answer a single word. That day before the Emperor, the interrogation lasted from afternoon until late at night. Piece after piece of evidence was laid out. The hidden warehouse, the fake ledgers, the witnesses' confessions. After reading it